Hey guys, Dr. Brad here. It has been a while since we've sat down like this and filmed a longer video. I think it's been about maybe 16 or 17 months. But when I first got started with YouTube, something that I was told was that no one cares about you. No one cares about me, the person making the videos. And they're like, if you need to step away, that's fine. No one's going to notice. And I don't say that as like an insult to anyone. I mean, if I were searching for something on Google, I don't care too much about what Google thinks, right? I'm just there looking for answers. And I know a lot of the people who watch my channel are out there, on their health journey, battling different symptoms. They're looking for answers, and I'm just a conduit to hopefully better answers and better health. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. The thing is that when I watch other channels, I really enjoy kind of knowing a little bit of the backstory, what they're up to, what they're doing. And for a long time, I kind of told myself, well, that's not my channel. My channel is health information. I'm not an influencer. I'm not, traveling or things like that. So I really don't need to include any of that. But I wanted to do a little bit of that today. I don't know if that's interesting. I don't know if that's helpful to you guys, but I did want to give you guys a bit of an update for kind of why I stepped away from YouTube and what I'm doing currently. So in September 2024, I got lucky enough to become a dad. My wife and I had a baby boy, and we've just been living that life since then, and it's been the best. Of course, there are challenges. Of course, there are long nights, but we've really, really enjoyed being parents. But at the same time, something that I realized is when life sort of changed for me, my time became a little bit more limited. And all you parents out there kind of know what that looks like. So YouTube has always been a bit of a big lift for me. There's a lot of time that goes into researching and filming and editing and all of that stuff. And when I started to look at my priorities, I was just unsure of how that fit with kind of what I was doing in terms of my work at the time, and then also how that was going to look moving forward. For one thing, when I was really low on sleep and energy and all of that good stuff, I felt a little bit guilty because I felt like I couldn't provide the same support and clarity and just being there for my patients and clients like I felt I should be. In addition to that, and this will kind of tie into why I changed kind of how I was doing YouTube, but in addition to that, I feel as though it is very important when I'm working with the women that I work with to be in a partnership with them. I don't want to make a recommendation and then, my lifestyle or my approach is something totally different. I always say, you guys can ask me questions because I am implementing this in my own life because I want to walk this path and walk this journey with you. Because I think that is what so many people are missing when it comes to Hashimoto's care is, they're not getting answers. They're not getting support from their doctor. They feel, like they're alone. And I am here to kind of be that guide, tell you exactly what's going wrong, and then allow you to take action on that in a way that gets you results. And so if I wasn't implementing kind of these healthy things into my own life, I felt that was a bad representation or a poor representation of the principles that I was trying to provide to the women I was working with. So if my time was now a little bit more limited, I had to do a bit of a review of my life and determine what was most important. And of course, I love teaching, I love educating. I hope that you guys have gotten a lot of value out of the videos that I've provided. But at the same time, something that I was recognizing and seeing is, I was getting the same questions over and over again when it came to, comments on YouTube, or people would, maybe watch one video that covered a topic and then they watch another video that covered a similar topic. And so they were kind of getting the same information over and over again, and it was what they needed, but it wasn't providing them the change or results that I knew was possible. And so if my thing is to help you live your best life, allow you to completely transform your symptoms, start healing your Hashimoto, start healing your thyroid, And the things that are important to me, I hope they're important to you as well, but be able to be with your family, be present, enjoy that time together, have hope for the future, look forward to vacations, all of that stuff. If we were going to achieve those things, it required more involvement on my part. And therefore, what I did was I directed a lot of my attention and my effort to the clients that I was working with and to the programs and women in those programs that I was fulfilling. And there was a perfect example of this just the other day where one of my clients said, I've been watching your videos for years, but I was still struggling. I was doing what I felt was kind of everything right. And it wasn't until we started working together where I started to see things change. And what she had mentioned was her energy had continued to really suffer in the evening time, to the point where she was always like, once it got past 4 p.m., I had to shut everything down. There was no chance I was leaving the house. And especially once it got dark in the winter, I was staying home. I just didn't have the capacity or the energy to really do anything. And just the other day, her son needed some extra help with a school project. It was, he didn't let her know until late in the evening. And she was like, yeah, I left the house. It was like 7:30 p.m. I went to Target. I picked some things up and I didn't even think about it. And that was the coolest part, because before it would have seemed like an impossible, request from her son. And now it was just something that she did, and she knew she could do it. She was so confident in herself, she didn't have to kind of weigh those pros and cons. And we were just, obviously so excited for her. But again, as I continued to review things and try to figure out, what should I be doing at this time in my life, what I recognized was that, whether it was that client or a lot of you guys watching, many of you are still stuck in what I call the utilization gap or the utilization problem. Your TSH is normal, your T4 is normal, your T3 is normal, but you're continuing to have symptoms. And the reason for that is with Hashimoto's, with autoimmunity, there is this inflammatory component due to the physical breakdown of the cells in your thyroid gland. And whenever our body has injury, that increases inflammation in a systemic manner, and that inflammation can then impair the way your body uses thyroid hormone. So even though you have enough, many of the symptoms that you experience are exactly the same as if you were deficient in that hormone. But because you aren't deficient, and because the standard model says, we just got to look at TSH, what ends up happening is your doctor kind of ignores what you're dealing with. They tell you to just keep on doing the same thing. And whether you're early on in the process or you've been taking medication for many years, you don't get the results that you deserve. So does this mean I'm gone? No, but I also don't know exactly what YouTube is going to look like going forward. Because I know the more time that I put into some of these videos, again, I'm willing to do it for you guys, and I do love to do it. But I also know that that's time that I could be dedicating to my clients, to my programs. And I think that is where we're seeing so much of that change, so much of that transformation. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. When we look at labs and we say labs look normal, but you're not feeling normal, the thing I always say to patients and clients is, yes, those labs are important, but the thing that's most important is how you feel and function. And so that same sort of principle is kind of being applied here, where I want you to actually feel better. I want you to actually heal. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the things to help you to be able to achieve that. So even though you might see less of me here on the channel, I'm actually more active than ever with my one-on-one clients, with my programs, and in some of the short form content that I produce, whether it's in YouTube Shorts or also on Instagram. If you want to keep learning from me, and more importantly, if you're ready to change and start healing, you're welcome to follow me in any of those areas. Also, I've been doing a lot of this past year kind of creating these short, easy to digest downloads. I made one just recently called The 3 Reasons Why Thyroid Meds Won't Fix Your Hashimoto's. I'll put that link in the description so you can grab it. But essentially what I'm trying to do is take a lot of the information, a lot of the principles that I've talked about in my videos and make them more actionable, get them in your hands right away and allow you to start making those changes as efficiently as possible. So no, I'm not gone. All is well. I'm just really enjoying, being a dad, being a husband, working with my clients, helping those in my program. And really what I'm doing is I'm just trying to refocus with the time I have. And so if you are looking for something different, if you're looking to change, if you're looking to refocus and start getting to the root cause of your problems, I would love to help you. I'd love to see you inside either, even if it's something as easy as my email list or one of my more involved programs, it would be amazing to see you there. But no matter what, I really appreciate you guys. I love you so much. I'm grateful for you watching over the years, and hopefully we can reconnect in some different ways going forward.